Live on a Tuesday. It's the 5th of August. Welcome inside the vault for a Ravens lunch hour live stream. I'm Bobby Trossett. She's Sarah Ellison. And this one's brought to you by us at thevaultpod.com/shop is where you can go check out our new apparel and merch line. There is so much to choose from. We'll share a little bit on that coming up later on. Sarah's a lot of football content to get to, of course, today. Preseason begins on Thursday night against the Colts. It's at the bank. It's the first of 3, and then we're only a month and 2 days out from the start of regular season play when the Ravens travel back to Buffalo for a rematch with the Bills. 21 local media members, that is, graded Lamar's and others' camp so far. So throughout training camp. What are we, 10 or 11 days in at this point? That is courtesy of the Baltimore Banner. We'll react to that and cycle through that coming up in just a bit. After that, a former Super Bowl champion that you tracked down, at least in a video you tracked him down, has pointed to one specific person who he expects to get the Ravens over the hump, or could potentially, or would maybe
needs
get
to
the Ravens over the hump. Needs to get over the hump.
And it's two Super Bowl champs, by the way, 2.
Take your pick. And a familiar face has returned to the AFC North. Todd Monken, enlightening or perhaps smoke screening when it comes to alignment and personnel formations this upcoming season, and a whole lot more. So we should probably dive into it before we get going.
We should definitely dive into it. Bobby, I just need to say, I feel like your energy, people don't know this off camera, you've just been killing it in the last 24 hours. So I'm loving what you're doing behind the scenes, helping this channel go to another level. So I just wanted to say that I appreciate you. All right.
So, feelings always mutual. Thank you.
Good. That makes me happy. Hope this isn't one-sided here. So, let's get into this media poll. Really fun stuff. We are about like halfway through camp. Yesterday was a very, almost like a glorified walkthrough, which makes sense because the Ravens just did a big M&T Bank Stadium practice in front of 26,000 fans. And, that was Sunday. And today starts, the practice against the Colts. So the Colts have come in early. They're going to practice together before their Thursday preseason opener here in Baltimore. So they needed to take it easy for a day when those two events sandwiched yesterday. So that was a good time to publish this poll. 21 members, as we mentioned, doing lots of different grading. So we will start with Lamar Jackson. They just gave him a grade, A minus, B, C, all that kind of stuff. Bobby, I'm just curious, based off of the highlights we've seen, based off of the full practice we finally got to see, courtesy of Ravens Productions, kind of airing that whole thing live. What is your sentiment of a grade that Lamar Jackson has probably gotten up to this point?
Well, in fairness, I have not looked ahead, obviously. Why would I have looked ahead? Because you had teased me that you might be quizzing me.
Yes.
So just so everyone knows, have not looked yet ahead. And so despite the interceptions from over the weekend when Jair got him twice, Nate got him once, I'm still going to give him the benefit of doubt. I'll go with A.
Okay, you're giving him an A. Now, here's what's interesting. So the banner, which this was all written by Gianna Hahn, give her the credit here. She said some people were grading him based off of camp only, not like who he is, not who they expect him to be, all that kind of stuff. So because of that, the majority of votes came in and gave him a B, the majority of camp came in with 8 and gave him a B. The next highest voting was a B minus at 7. So 15 of the 21 are like, you know what? He's in the B range. Just for camp. But it said in there, Gianna said that some people just gave him an A because of the benefit of the doubt, or an A minus, because as we know, what Lamar has said is he wanted to do a lot of experimentation. So you're probably going to see some more of those picks, all that kind of stuff. They felt like he was a little bit more inconsistent. And so that's where they have him. But Bobby, I'm kind of with, the voters who are not concerned. I am not concerned about Lamar Jackson. He made it very clear that he would be experimenting, and you're going to have picks, and you're not going to be as accurate when you are doing so.
Yeah, I guess this makes sense. And who's to say that B and B minus are even concerned, right? They might just, to your point, they might just be
they're just putting blinders on.
Right. They might just be looking at it objectively, and before this training camp, after this training camp, none of it matters. It's about the here and now. And I think that's fair. I guess I was willing to give them the benefit of doubt. Go with A. Iron sharpens iron. And so that's my first guess for you.
Okay, here we go. Let's go on to the next one. They took a poll on who has the biggest stock up, biggest stock riser. Will you just put out some names of like you're getting an impression of, whoa, hearing this guy's name a lot. I know this is off the top of your head, but who would you put up there?
Mike would be first. Mike Green.
Green, okay.
Think he comes to mind. Malachi probably comes to mind.
Okay.
Stock up. I mean, it's hard not to put Jair on that list.
Okay. Just so
talking about people that haven't necessarily. Let
me reframe this because the 3 people you just named, 8 people got votes. None of those 3 got votes.
Okay. Can you so reframe it and help me out here?
So I think it's like, for example, like Mark Andrews isn't a stock up, right? Because the expectations for Mark are what they are. So I think stock up is more of a guy that it's like they're beating expectations or they're better than they were. Whereas like Jair, there's probably pretty decent expectations coming in, right?
Okay. Thank you.
So let's reframe it that way.
In that case, probably Devontae Walker makes that list. There you go.
That's number 1 on the list. Yeah.
I mean, how can he not be? He's having a tremendous camp. Obviously dealt with a little bit of a lower body thing over the weekend, but then returned to practice, which was good. I think it was described as a soft tissue setback. So good to have him back. But yeah, he would come to mind first.
Okay.
And then after that, and this exercise is going to require the depth chart being out.
You're going to see number 2 on here. You're going to be like, oh, duh. Here, I'll just reveal it. Tyler Loop.
Wow.
Big time stock up. Because think about how everybody was talking about him after the OTAs.
Okay.
Remember? Like, wasn't it like we talked about it? Like, well, this is kind of concerning. He was missing a lot of kicks. And maybe it was due to the experimentation during that time too. Okay. But Devontae Walker, far and away, getting the most votes. Easily number 1 on this list with 7 of the 21 votes. That's the 3rd for those mathematicians out there. Tyler Loop tied in 2nd with Keaton Mitchell. And that makes sense to me too, because we just reviewed this yesterday. Keaton's got that speed back. And he told us that he had that speed back, but J.K. Dobbins felt like he did for a minute too, right? Players are supposed to think big. They're supposed to talk big. They're supposed to be like, I'm getting there. So you can't always trust what they say because it's more aspirational. But Keaton Mitchell, the play has matched the talk. So he and Tyler Loop both at number 3. Now comes Nate Wiggins, which makes a bit of sense because, and this is what's funny, Bobby. So Nate Wiggins has been getting some, just from a few fans in Ravens Twitter. They feel like a lot of the highlights that come for the completed passes are coming against Nate Wiggins. And maybe it just happens to be that some of the highlights are coming out against him. Like, for example, there was a highlight for Tylan Wallace yesterday. Nate Wiggins was in coverage, but Tylan Wallace made a circus catch, an absolute circus catch, and Nate Wiggins was right there. And so if you go back and look at some of the stuff, Nate's right there. It's just people making pretty sweet plays. And so the media is telling us, hey, and so are the coaches, by the way, that it's like, and play. How about Kyle Hamilton saying, oh, he's making the biggest jump from year 1 to year 2. So, I can see why, some of these highlights with Nate in there, people winning, but you got to go look at how they're winning for sure. But he's gotten 2 votes. Keith Kirkwood, whose name we've called a lot, has 2 votes. Your guy, Teddy Buchanan, has 2 votes. Trenton Simpson is not on here, and you would want to see Trenton Simpson on here. Roderick Washington, 1, and then Chidobe Awuzie gets 1 vote. So those are the guys on there.
You would definitely want Trenton's name on this list. Now that I know your framework, that is definitely a list that he's going to try to get himself on, so to speak, between now and September 7th. But I guess, this makes sense to me. I was 0 for 3 off the top, but after my first 3, I probably would have went with Devontae, Keaton, and Nate. That's the direction in which I was headed.
Yeah.
But I can also see why Tyler Loop of late deserves to be, close to the top of this list.
Okay. Moving on. We are going to go to stock down. This one's kind of crazy. There is 1 and 2 is kind of overwhelming, but there's a lot of people who got votes on this. Like the list goes on and on and on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys that got 1 vote. The top guy got 6 votes. The second guy got 4 votes. So this is kind of all over the place. I'm actually surprised by 1 name on here. Ooh, 2 names on here. I don't know. You could like throw a name out there and you're probably going to be right. There's a lot of people on here. Stock down.
But I want to challenge myself though.
Okay, how about I give you a position group? Can I give you a position group for the top?
And you're saying this is the only player that doesn't have 1.
No, there's 2 players that don't have 1.
Okay.
Everybody else has 1.
All right.
But let me give you the position group.
I would gladly take a position group.
Outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker. Yeah. So that room consists of KVN. It consists of Adafe. It's Mike Green. It's Adisa Isaac. It's David Ajabo and some undrafted guys. I'm thinking it's either Adisa or Ajabo. So I'm going to go with David.
It was Adisa. Adisa has 6 votes.
Of course it is. What?
Hey, Ajabo didn't get a stock up or a stock down, which is not good for Ajabo because he needed a big time stock up. Yeah. And by the way, I saw in the chat they wanted to review who voted. This is 21 local media members who I'm assuming are the guys that are basically there every day. Okay, so these are the guys that for sure, this isn't like national media. These are guys that are watching these camps pretty much every single day. So Adisa Isaac, so not good news for him. I think, you know, he really didn't get to do much last year as a rookie because of that injury. So he's coming back from injury, but it's not looking good so far. Ben Cleveland, I almost want to go read what they said about Ben Cleveland here. I wonder if I have it nearby. Because I wonder if they're giving a stock down. Remember when John Harbaugh said that like his first 3 days were really bad and then he had 3 days that were pretty good? So I'm just wondering if these votes are more based off of, hey, John Harbaugh just straight up said that he's not in the lead. John Harbaugh just said he's straight up behind Voorhees. But what's funny, Bobby, is Voorhees is on this list too.
Yeah.
He only got 1 vote. He got 1 vote. So you got to keep that in perspective. But they're both on the stock down list.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm certainly not losing sleep over any 1 vote getter. I don't think you are either. Right. If you think about from a scheduling standpoint, can every single reporter that's been asked to take part in this list, have they been present at every single practice? Have they been present at every single drill? I would. Those are follow-up questions that would come to mind just in case, you know, they've missed certain phases of camp, drills throughout camp, one-on-one work, so on and so forth. So that comes to mind when I see the 1 vote getters. When you start to see 6, that obviously sticks out like a sore thumb. When you see 4, that sticks out. I think anything more than, what do you think? Like anything more than 2 or 3 sticks out as something that's significant.
Yeah, I think when it's just 1, it's just like one person maybe just had different expectations. So,
like, why is LeJontay on here, for example? We've heard nothing but praise for him and how he's handled his return duties and the technique and the timing and the sight vision and everything that goes into that. I find him to be a surprise. You kind of highlighted Voorhees.
Yeah.
Hadn't heard much about Tyler Wallace being on a negative list, you know, or playing underwhelmingly. It's surprising to see him on here. It's surprising to see DeAndre Hopkins on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, you're right. You can't give too much to the 1 votes because who knows? So here we go. Voorhees. This is what the banner says. Voorhees was not a shoo-in for the spot, but he has been consistently good throughout camp, while Cleveland has only recently started to stack impressive performances. So that's their reasoning there. All right. Okay. We're going to go dark horse next. And they had to clarify what this meant. They were like, look, most of the jobs are locked up. It's going to be really tough to make this roster. So when they mean dark horse, they're like, usually we say dark horse to make the roster. They're like, but this year we'll just say dark horse to do something great in camp. So this one's actually a little bit tougher. The number one person on this list, I'll just tell you. Do you want me to give you a hint? It's a U.
Yeah, sure.
It's a UDFA.
Oh.
Yeah. There's been a couple stories here and there about him, but we haven't spoken about him on the show.
Oh, Ruben Lowry, for sure. Yeah. Ruben early on in camp was like taking away the football, wreaking havoc. No surprise to see him atop this list. I was gonna guess Dayton before you kind of narrowed it down a little bit more, or actually no, you didn't really. I mean, you didn't.
I told you it was UDFA, but yeah, Dayton's right there behind him. Lowry had 6 votes. Dayton Wade has 5.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? I would have had. Who would I had on this list? Had I had to do it over again, and you were to take undrafted free agents out of play, I might go with Sanusi. I mean, safety is a position where, hey, is it Malachi's job to lose? Maybe, but he's a rookie. And Sanusi popped at times last year in special teams and at safety in preseason. I get it. It's preseason. You're not running against the ones. There's a lot to like about Sanusi. I think he's just got Raven-like written all over him. He's a hard hitter, smart player, first ever Raven to be drafted out of Purdue. I just something about Sanusi Kane, Sarah, that brings a certain level of tenacity.
Well, the Ravens have yet to sign a veteran safety, which I think speaks to the fact that perhaps they're liking what they see out of Sanusi Kane and Bo Braid. What's funny about this is Dayton Wade, and this is why we just say we can't give too much stock to the one vote getters. We could take one step back, stock down Dayton Wade. Then you go to Dark Horse, 5 votes for Dark Horse. You know what I mean? And so that's why you can't put too much stock into like these 1 votes. But every time I turn around, there seems to be like some sort of highlight from Dayton Wade. Just making a sweet catch, whether it's from Lamar or, Cooper Rush, any of that.
Yeah.
So Rasheen Ali on this list, Chidobe Awuzie on this list, and maybe that's going to feed into my next, the next and final slide, which is who's going to win the 3rd cornerback spot. I think that maybe somebody out there is thinking, hey, maybe he could end up getting more playing time than we think. That everybody kind of forgot about Cheeto once the Ravens signed Jair. So maybe that's why they're seeing him as a dark horse. Keaton Mitchell, they're seeing as a dark. I mean, Keaton Mitchell is performing well. It's more just like, can he get snaps? So maybe that's why they call him a dark horse. But the last question here, Bobby, is who will win the 3rd cornerback spot?
This is where it gets interesting because I point to Zach Orr's comments from yesterday, which I think is probably a good time to maybe bring this up, Sarah, unless you want to wait until we're finished with this when we're going through press conference notes, but I think it's a perfect segue.
Okay.
And that was this, again, from Zach Orr's press conference yesterday when he was asked specifically about this category that you're talking about, the number 3 cornerback competition between Jair and Cheeto. And Zach was quoted for saying, both of those guys know they are going to play. I'm not looking at it as a competition. That is a direct quote from Zio. Now, with all that said, Jair is going to get the most of these votes, I would think. Cheeto would be second. And if there's a third, perhaps it's TJ Tampa. But that would be my
He wasn't even, I don't even think he was part of the options to vote. Yeah. Okay. 17 votes to Jair Alexander.
All right.
4 to Awuzie. So it kind of begs the question, why is this even a poll question? Right. But you pointed out what Zach said. And here's another reason why. Awuzie has been getting the most of the team's 3rd starting quarterback spot snaps. So But at the same time, it's because they're easing Jair in. Cheetos had a little bit of a jump on learning the defense because they signed him so much like months earlier. And so they've been easing in Jair. It's just that Cheeto's been out there more at number 3.
Okay.
But obviously the media thinks that that's going to flip as Jair learns the offense. And one thing I wanted to back up for a second. We were talking about Lowry, the undrafted rookie free agent who they mostly voted for dark horse. I just wanted to read what they said about him. He's a cornerback with experience at safety and a nose for the ball. Lowry has regularly won one-on-ones against the Ravens' second-string wide receivers. He's also made plays in team drills. Ravens coaches have spoken highly of his performance. I mean, undrafted guy beating the number 2 wide receivers. They're the second string. That's why he's sticking out there. But I did want to show, since we just talked about the voting of Jair Alexander versus Cheeto. Oh, and by the way, I think we talked about this yesterday. Cheeto's going to get on the field. They're going to be in packages where they have obviously more than three corners. Plus, that linebacker spot next to Roquan Smith, I could easily see Trenton or Teddy or whoever's in there to come off the field and Cheeto go in there at that point. But anyway, Jair was mic'd up, and I thought just this clip was really nice. And just these players just love him so much.
Yeah, 2-3 is mic'd up. Yeah, they right there. Yeah, they right there. This is so lit. You gotta say you got some words of wisdom?
Have confidence in yourself. This dude right here taught me to have confidence in yourself. Best oldest vet in the league.
Hey man, you rich. Hey, you almost made me shed a tear, man. I wasn't expecting that. You got some words of wisdom, or?
Hey, it's great to have you as a Baltimore Raven, bro.
All right, man. Y'all getting real deep today, man.
You,
Y'all gonna make
Remember
me
that.
cry.
Remember that the whole day.
All right, 6'7".
I grew up watching you, man, since like 3rd grade. I know you've been in it for 15, 16 years.
Come on, man. Don't do me like that.
It's a dream, even, to be playing with you, bro.
Oh, man.
It's a blessing.
Y'all, you know what? Y'all outdoing yourself today, man. I'm just gonna stand over here.
Oh, there's nothing better than giving a compliment and a jab at the same time. You know
That's
what
what
I mean?
it was. The best oldest vet is what he referred to him as. But
Vet.
all kinds of energy from Jair. You just hope that can be channeled into productivity and availability on the field. But clearly the respect is immense. And it's universal within that defensive back room. So the 6'7" is hysterical too, by the way. Because you looked it up yesterday. He's 6'4", Kyle Hamilton.
Well, and it's funny because I always joke about this, or me and my siblings always joke about this. No matter what kind of good news I have to tell my mom, she always brings it up a notch, right? It doesn't matter. Like, it's like, Mom, I got this great deal on a car. I only got it for, X amount of dollars. And then she'll cut 2,000 more off of it. Or Mom, and like in high school, I'd be like, Mom, look at this. I got a 92 on my math test. And she'd go tell people that I got a 98. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, 6'4" is huge at the safety position. Yeah. And he could just call him 6'4", but no, he's got to add on those 3 more inches and call him 6'7".
It's that basketball size. There you have it. Risers, fallers, winners, losers so far through the start of Ravens training camp. Let's get to some super chats, gifts, and everything else alike that's come in. And it began early this morning. Douglas H. Brown Sr. gets it started with an orange banner, a $20 super chat that reads as follows. Okay, Voltrons, let's get with it and get prepared for another adventure with Sarah and Bobby. And on top of that, he gifted 5 additional channel Voltrons. So 5 new channel members have been gifted totally randomly through YouTube, thanks to Douglas H. Brown Sr.'s generosity. We appreciate you, man. And Sarah,
Douglas
those actually were not displayed on the super chat. So I went ahead and scrolled all the way back up to make sure that we're up to speed. Lewis's is not populating either. So I had to scroll up in our chat, and he says back from vacation and repping the merch. # LFG Ravens. We love that, Lewis. And this from Douglas H. Brown.
Loving the Will logo on the banner.
Appreciate you.
Did you put
Douglas?
a Will logo in there?
I think he's just noticing it. It's always there.
Oh.
Thanks, Douglas. Dax says currently on a 10-hour road trip in France.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
incredible. Let us know where you're at, Dax, and safe travels to you. Awesome time to be in Europe.
I kind of like the idea that like our voices are in France right now.
Right?
Right?
Totally.
Well, I mean, I'm not there, but my voice is.
Mrs. EDC, Lacey DaCosta's heading up to the Syracuse area to visit some schools with her son, Michael. So maybe she has us on. If that's the case, shout out, Lacey. Douglas also says, this is my favorite time of the day.
Woo!
Just after 12:10, right when we started today. One time 032 for you.
He says, heck yeah, I get to catch the love today. LFG. Oh, he meant live. I get to catch the live today.
One time. Thanks for catching us. Thank you for catching us. David Scott says, does Bobby's new show with Jeff and Cole start tonight? It does indeed.
Woo!
8 o'clock Eastern. Ravens Collective. If you haven't subscribed yet, if we get to 1,000 subscriptions, which we're at 510 last time I checked, it'll be one step closer to monetizing it, and it'll be all worth our time. Well, it's worth our time regardless.
1,000? I thought it was 500.
Yeah, 1,000 subscriptions and a certain amount of watch hours. So if you guys haven't done that yet, we'd appreciate it. You can find it at the Ravens Collective. I don't know what is up with these super chats today, but Park Heights Profit, his populated, and there's an orange banner. $20 for you.
He says, PHP is here. Work has made me underground, but nothing has changed. The road to greatness is being paved now, mile by mile. Let's keep going. You know where I stand. We got this, Bobby. Need a fourth for that show tonight. LOL, hashtag 20-0.
My man wants in. 8 o'clock Eastern. PHP might be showing up. Hope you join us, PHP. You never know. The guest lines might open at some point. We'll see. Nick Marty, super chat. The only local media guy I trust is Vinny because he used to be a GM and a scout, and his opinion on a job is he's probably the only local media guy I trust is Vinny because he used to be a GM and a scout, and his opinion on a job is he's probably going to get traded.
Oh, he means a jobbo?
Oh, I'm sorry, a jobbo. Okay. Thank you, Nick. Vinny is great, by the way. He's on 105.7 The Fan. And to Nick's point, he did used to work with the Commanders organization. Sod Blitz 3, although he had to be there, Sarah, during the years of Dan Snyder. I can only imagine how much in the back of his mind he's wishing that he were a part of this current era of Commanders football because it's a darn good one. And it all starts at quarterback with Jaden Daniels. Sod Blitz 3445 for you.
Just watched yesterday's show. Oh, he just watched yesterday's show. Wanted to throw out there that Herb started the Philadelphia game last year and is the last Raven to play with Suggs and Nada.
That's incredible. That is incredible. Brent has been around a long time, and he's back for yet another stint in Baltimore. He takes over Michael Pierce's number, his pal and fellow star from Ravens Wired, and he can get his hand on footballs. I'm looking forward to getting him. I'd like to see him involved in some formations on special teams to affect kicks, which he's obviously done effectively in the past for the Ravens. Doing this the old-fashioned way, guys, so bear with me here because they're not populating in our starred section as much as they should. But I think I was actually pretty thorough there.
Did you get this one up top?
Well, for starters, Ravens fan 73. Literally at 9 o'clock last night, based on the timestamp that I'm looking, hit us with a "What's up, Tron fam?" So thank you, John, I think it is, who has a different handle on the screen because of the new feature that you talked about and researched earlier this week. And if you don't know what that means, AI Overview told us that now your handles rather than your usernames are displayed on the screen when you leave a comment. You can easily change that. You just got to go into the back end of your settings on YouTube to do so. Sorry, Sarah, go ahead. Which one were you referring
to? Just this one. I didn't know if you'd got this one up. But people are asking for a link to subscribe to your show, bud.
Oh.
You want to put that in the chat?
Yeah, sure. Why don't you let everybody know our concurrence, will you?
Oh, sure. I will. I will let Tila and the whole world know that we are at 1,450. and climbing. So that's what's going on with the concurrence. And I think we just got another super chat while you get that link in there. It's at Ray Dog We Trust. When the Ravens face the Bills week 1, it's either a blowout win or we lose by 3 or less. Depends on how Harbaugh shows up. I feel like Ray Dog just gave a little teaser as to what's coming up.
I was just going to say.
In 2 segments from now.
I was just going to say, well done. And now that we're caught up on Super Chats, appreciate you guys for being with us. Sarah got the concurrent number, and I got this for us because it's the vaultpod.com/shop is the sponsor of this episode. It's our brand new apparel line. Not brand new. We're a few weeks in now, but we've been loving it. And we hope that you have been as well. I have a lot of local people here in the Albany, New York area that have been asking and clamoring for merch. So the Vault is apparently going 518 friendly here in upstate New York, but between shirts, sweatshirts, especially this white one, Sarah, you know how I feel about the wheel logo, the crew necks that come in a bunch of variety, different colors, the women's fitted Razorback tank tops.
I wore that one today at my workout.
Any comments?
Well, here's what's nice is a few girls have already bought some, and so they've seen it. But I tell you what, I felt so good during my workout today. Oh, I felt so good.
How good? How nice is that, though, that they went out of their way to buy it, and then also that you're feeling good mid-workout with your merch on? Like, that's a double whammy of positivity.
Yeah, well, whammy means negativity. Didn't you watch the show?
Double whammy?
Yes.
Okay.
Pressure luck might have been before your time. I definitely enjoyed watching it as a little kid. A whammy is a bad thing.
Makes sense. Just rolled off the tongue positively. How about a double trifecta? Nope, that would be 3. How about a double up? A double it up. T-shirts,
sure,
Under Armour.
That works.
Golf polo. That's what happens when you got the camera in your face. Sometimes you literally can't speak English when you need to. Beanies. Really cute girl from the gym wants a beanie, and I already said yes. Snapback hat. She's married and has 2 kids. Wheel dad hat over here on the right-hand side. Beanies, more hats, bucket hats included. I would love to get a selfie from someone rocking their bucket hat at Ravens camp before it closes up to the public. I would love that. Koozies, mugs, and speaking of the mugs, Sarah, and their stickers and magnets as well as you keep going on. But speaking of the mug, look who, one, is feeling better, which really warms my heart and makes me feel a lot more better than I have in the last couple weeks. But look at this action. Madre out on the back deck this morning with her Vault mug. Supporting the show.
Love it. Look at that blue blazer looking all professional.
She's looking good. She had a network meeting this morning. So many of you have been reaching out, whether it's on my other show, on Instagram, in the Discord, wherever it is, asking about her and her well-being, which I really appreciate. She is almost 2 weeks removed from an emergency detached retina surgery in her right eye. She's still seeing drifters, which is really bothering her. But the 45-degree angles, the 180-degree angles, the sleeping limitations, everything else that she dealt with for about 10 days has subsided. So she's in good shape. And I appreciate you guys for wondering, asking, and reaching out. It means a lot.
That's awesome.
Shall we get to some notes from you? It was a glorified walkthrough yesterday at Ravens camp, so there isn't a ton to get to in terms of notes, but we do have some. Shall we?
Please do.
All right. Here's what I have for you. First and foremost, it's from Todd Monken. He was asked about the potential of utilizing more 3 receiver sets given DeAndre Hopkins' arrival. And the answer essentially resulted in him just ripping off a laundry list of different ideas, different personnel formations, and different options more so than anything else, Sarah, that he could turn to and the Ravens offense could turn to in 2025. Listen to this.
That remains to be seen. We're still early in the process. I like what I've seen so far from our guys. As I said in the spring, I see him as a starter. I see us having 3 starters. But I also see Charlie Kolar as a starter. I see Isaiah Likely as a starter. I think we could go 2 backs. I think we could have Derek out there and Justice, or Derek and Keaton. I think that's pretty cool. You know, that kind of versatility. So I see all those guys as starters. But you're right. I think we could end up going that direction. But that remains to be seen as we play it out.
Your thoughts, partner? A lot to think about there.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Nope.
Well, yeah, I mean, we said this when Isaiah likely went down. I was like, I bet there'll be more 11 personnel. And I mean, these like, and the options are, as much as you love Charlie, it's like, is it Charlie or is it DeAndre? But I like where Todd Monken's head is at. It's where it should be, which is like, don't do the only thing that's obvious. Like has so many different weapons at his disposal. And listen, some of it you might have to experiment a little bit with, but like I would love to see Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell on the field at the same time. That could be fun. Or like he said, Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. That would be a lot of fun. And so maybe, defenses and what personnel they have would kind of dictate that. So, but at the end of the day, you could try something like that and it could get blown up. And so you'd be like, okay, forget that, DeAndre, come back out here. We're going to go 3 wide, So I like where his head's at, though, in terms of like, to be a good offensive coordinator, your mind has always got to be churning. It's always got to be churning with new ideas, new thoughts. You got to stay a step ahead. So let's go, Monk. Let's see what you can come up with.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. And speaking of Monk, he continues to be a man of the people. He continues to be a can't miss press conference, listen or watch. And he continues to be a man of the people, as Fox 45 and a Twitter handle by the name of Concussed Kenny captured Sarah over the weekend prior to the stadium practice at M&T Bank Stadium. Listen to this. And for the audio folks, here goes Todd on his way into the bank. He's got security flanking him, but a whole flock group of fans give him a little dap up, give him a little chain. He walks into the stadium with his new chain on. He's happy as heck. But this is just classic vintage Todd Monken. Security's probably like, let's just get you into the stadium. Now, I'm going to go veer over here to the right and go hang out with these guys just for a couple minutes. I'm going to don their freaking chain and go do what I do at the stadium practice.
Is that Twitter user Kika? What's his name?
Is that Trippy in there?
That looks like Trippy.
Where?
With the bucket hat.
Let's take a look.
When he called him over. Right there.
Let's see. Where are you at, Trip?
Right there.
With the bucket
white tank.
hat.
The white tank. Ravens.
He's taller than that.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But no one tripped.
Sometimes he's down there a lot, you know what I mean? And he does call out to everybody, really.
Oh, is he ever? Trippy's got personal relationships with all these people.
Yeah.
I
met Trippy, I think 2 years ago at camp. He was fun.
Great dude. I learned this year. I was reminded this year that we have the same birthday, so we exchanged a couple of messages, which was funny. But
fun.
But yeah, he's got rapport, man, with these people. And speaking of rapport, I'm talking about Trippy with a lot of the personnel. But speaking of rapport, Todd does too with the fan base, which I'm sure means a lot to him, having never lived in Baltimore prior to this opportunity the last couple of years, and spending the years prior to that in Georgia and every other stop that he's had along his coaching career. So those are the Todd Monken notes that I have for you. And then on the other side of the ball, Zach Orr showed up in, shall we say, younger form. For the first time in 10 years, Zach decided to take a look in the mirror and shave off the beard. And that beard's been thick. I mean, that thing's got some James Harden written all over it. But look at him now. Just a light goatee, probably feeling a little lighter, probably feeling a little cleaner. And he is looking clean. There's the O.
Did he say why he did it? Did he just wake up one day?
Was ready for a change.
Well, listen, you know that I'm of the opinion that most men, not all men, but most men just look better with facial hair. He's still got a little bit, but I already missed the beard. And anytime oh my gosh, my husband had a beard for years. Then one day he shaved it and I was like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? It's just more manly. It's more manly with that beard. Let's go.
Trevor looks very natural with his facial hair. And us Trossett boys could only ever wish to have facial hair that thick, that actually able to rock, because we can't. All right. Spoiler alert. We can't. We try. We can't. Every single year, typically in the winter, we kind of feel like, hey, we rediscover this idea that maybe, just maybe, this is the year. No, we didn't get our father's genes, and that's just that. But Zach, I think, can handle both. But Sarah,
I mean, look. I mean, he's handsome.
Here's the deal, though, Sarah.
Yeah.
He did note that he's a superstitious guy when it comes to football. So God forbid, knock on wood, if things start to go downhill early on, maybe the beard comes. I mean, you can't just flip a switch and bring the beard back. But maybe
I think he can.
Maybe.
I think he can. I think he can have his back within 48 hours.
Maybe just to that extent.
Maybe not 48 hours, but come on, man. I don't doubt Zach Orr's beard growing capabilities.
Oh, man. All good.
I'm telling you, my husband grows his quick.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. But he does look, what, like 10 years younger? I mean, he looks young.
Very young.
He looks like the youngest coordinator in the NFL. Is he still the youngest coordinator?
He was the first year.
Last year. I don't know about this year.
He turned what, 33 or 34 this offseason. He's 33. He'll be 34 in June of 2026. Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of players still in this league that are older than him.
Older than him, yeah. Brent Urban. Is Brent Urban one of them?
Brent Urban's one of them. Aaron Rodgers definitely one of them. You know. So, anyway, there you have it. On
Urban is 34, and Zach Orr is now.
He's 33, soon to be 34.
33. So yeah, Brent Urban is older than him.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. And to James's point, KVN's right around there as well.
Yep.
So. Okay, let's get caught up on Super Chats before you shift us to the next topic.
Ooh, yes.
I don't think we have much to catch up on. Let's see. Ray Dog We Trust. I believe we ended with this one.
Yep.
Okay, so that means just Yo-Jitsu who's celebrating 5 months of channel membership, meaning he's been with us from the jump. So first and foremost, Yo-Jitsu, thank you for your continued support. And the comment that he writes is, I'm excited for Thursday. This is our year. We're going to win it all. Those are the facts until I'm proven wrong. #Vault, #Vaultrons. Appreciate you, Yo-Jitsu, and appreciate all 1,600 plus of you right now for joining us concurrently. If you could on the way in, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, do those things that really help out growth for what we're building here. And if you haven't already done so, perhaps gift giving could be in the cards if you want to continue channel membership growth. And you can also visit the show notes or thevaultpod.com/shop to go check out our new apparel line. Lead us to our next destination, will you please?
Here we go. Chris Sims, Devin McCourty, and Rodney Harrison all got together to talk about the top AFC teams with Super Bowl windows. It is to no one's surprise that they talked about the Bills and Ravens first, but specifically the Ravens. And obviously some context that we all know is Devin McCourty and Rodney Harrison know something about getting to the Super Bowl, as both of them are former Patriots. I think one had played with the Patriots for like 13 years, the other 15. I mean, crazy stints. And obviously was there with the greatest quarterback of all time, but was also there with one of the most does Bill Belichick have the most Super Bowl rings? I'm assuming he does.
Yep.
The most? Okay. So they've got that background to them.
Not more than Tom, though.
Not more than Tom.
Coaches wise.
There we go.
Tom's got one more, as we all know.
Well, Tom left Bill. And Bill's team went downhill, and Tom just continued to do what he does.
And while we're talking about Bill, you got to go check out.
You texted me last night, and I forgot to respond.
Go check it out.
That was hilarious. Just tell the people. Funny. Tell the people real quick.
Mary Kay Cabot, Browns beat reporter, friend of the show, longtime reporter in Cleveland. So long that the first head coach that she covered was one Bill Belichick. She roasted him pretty good during a speech recently at a podium with a live audience, and it was all about his 24, 23, somewhere around there, year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. essentially referring to herself, meaning Mary Kay, as the 28-year-old that Bill was really tough on earlier on in her career, and then threw a little zinger in there. I know why he was so tough, because he wasn't, what was the quote? It was like he wasn't familiar or wasn't used to. It was just hysterical. Go check it out. Mary Kay Cabot, trending on Twitter.
You sent it to me. I'll bring it up quickly here. You set that up so well and then just failed on the delivery line.
I know.
She said, I totally understand why Bill gave me such a hard time. I was 28 at the time, and he just couldn't relate to a woman that old.
I got a good kick out of it.
Well, it's funny because we've talked to Mary Kay. It's not like we're best friends, but she's been on the show more than once. And she's just an encyclopedia of information, and so like straight-faced and professional that it was like, that's probably more of what got me more than even just the zinger, that it came from Mary Kay. But obviously we don't know her too well, but
totally. And how refreshing is it though, that someone can have that sense of humor, show that side of her humor, and coming off the ESPYs and the roast from a couple of years ago with Brady and Belichick and Edelman and all these, like this culture of sensitivity surrounding roasts. I think it just lacks humor. And I thought that it was hysterical. I'm sure Jordan Hudson didn't appreciate it, and probably Bill didn't appreciate it, but the audience did based on what you heard. Anyway,
I feel like if you're in a relationship with that, you have to be fine with good humored jokes about it, right? Like some can go too far, but that one I don't think was like distasteful or anything. Like it's just like, you gotta listen, you gotta be able to laugh at yourself sometimes, for sure. Okay, heading back over to Chris Sims, Devin McCourty, and Rodney Harrison, and they're talking about the Ravens Super Bowl window and how the Ravens have really had a window for, this is now the third year in a row, maybe more, but for sure the last 3 years. Before that, Lamar got injured a couple times. Rodney Harrison did not mince words. He made it very clear the one person he thinks it could be that gets them over the top. It was not like most media that just says Lamar, 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 Lamar. He said somebody that I think some people in this chat will like to hear.
Talk about Baltimore. And the thing about Baltimore to me is this: they've had a Super Bowl roster the last few years.
100.
And the players have done a tremendous job. And I have a lot of respect for Coach Harbaugh and the job that he's done. But the players have gotten them to that point. Now it's up to the coach to get them over the hump. So it's up to Coach Harbaugh to get that team prepared and ready and over that hump. We would always get us to that point, the players, and then Coach Belichick, because of his planning, his ability to just speak into us and show us different things and really elevate our play, got us over the hump. So it's the coaching that gets you over the hump.
Right.
So I'm looking at McDermott, I'm looking at Coach Harbaugh. These teams are very mirrored. Right, either one of these teams should be winning Super Bowls. They should be beating Kansas City, but it's the difference is coaching. That's the difference. You got to think about what Isaiah Likely said this offseason. It really caught me. He said we have to be able to play a certain style of football, the same style of football in the regular season and the playoffs. That's what he said. And that's the thing that really drew my attention. I'm like, why are things different? Why is something different? And that's the thing I love about Coach Belichick. He would actually elevate us by instilling confidence, showing us different little trinkets and things that work. And we would always have that confidence going in, and we would win football games because we had a great coach.
Bobby, it's hard to disagree. Like, I don't know where I could be like, no, you're absolutely wrong when you talk to a guy who's been to a Super Bowl and he's been there with star players. Star players. Look, there's no doubt in my mind that we just mentioned it. Tom Brady went on and won a Super Bowl ring. Bill Belichick did not. But when you hear from Super Bowl winners saying, listen, the players are going to get you there, but the coach gets you over the hump, that holds some weight for me. That you've been there so many times, that holds weight to me. And that doesn't mean that like the players have no accountability, right? Like it doesn't mean that you can't point out that, you know, Zay Flowers had a fumble and Mark Andrews had a fumble and that there was the 2-point conversion was dropped, or that Lamar had an interception. Like you can point that all out for sure. And they're professional players, but when other players that have rings and have played with some of the greatest of all time, and they're saying, listen, I'm telling you, it's the head coach that instills some confidence. It's the head coach that, you know, keeps you calm. And for sure, I would put that AFC Championship game number one on the coaches. And because I just think they came with the wrong game plan. And so I don't know how you could push back and say Rodney Harrison is totally wrong here.
I think we'd be crazy to do that based on what they've been, what they've accomplished, who they are, what they've seen, what they've experienced. I am with you. I think when I look at the 2023 AFC Championship game, I'm a lot more receptive to what Rodney just shared there. Lately, as we've spent all of this offseason dissecting the pressure management side of things, dissecting the lack of turnovers and takeaways that this defense has created. And on the other side of the football, the careless turnovers, particularly in that first half in Buffalo, it's hard for me to solely blame John Harbaugh for those areas. Is there a way of coaching pressure management, changing the way that you prepare? He's going to have to find out. He's going to have to find that out if they're there again, if they're in a position to do so. So to a certain extent, I kind of like stop myself and I'm like, okay, yes, it's ultimately up to the Super Bowl champion who's been there and done that before in 2012. But how much of that is in his control when you're in the elements? There's a massive drop in a crucial moment. There's a costly turnover. There's pass rushes coming at a premium when it comes to pressure and sacks and so on and so forth. That's hard for me to just sit here and call a blanket statement. It's up to John Harbaugh. Overall, it's up to him to figure out why those areas came up short. But is he ultimately the blame?
Well, I think what Rodney's getting to, I'm with you. Like, I just feel like, they're professional athletes that are out, especially the all pro athletes that are like, having turnovers and this and that. But I think what Rodney is specifically speaking to, if you listen to him, he pointed out what Isaiah likely said. And Isaiah said, our identity changes. Now in the 2023 AFC Championship game, we can see the identity changed with the X's and O's and the game plan. But I think there's another side of it where it's like there's nervousness there. Remember Odafe Owe was on X Radio. What's it called?
Was it Rich Eisens or Sirius XM?
No, Sirius XM. And he was like, we just have to tell ourselves that, we're good enough to be here and this and that, da-da-da-da-da. So listen, if it were one player that suddenly didn't look like himself from the regular season to the postseason, then I'd say that is this player's problem, because the rest of the team doesn't have that issue. But Rodney is saying that Isaiah is like, we as a team are not who we are. And that's true. And we how many times did we say it last year? The only team that can beat the Ravens is the Ravens. And so like, yes, I'm completely with you with the turnovers. You can't just say, oh, that turnover is John Harbaugh's fault. But I think if the entire team is completely different from who they are in the regular season, that to me is then you look at coaching, because it's happening team wide.
It's well received.
Okay,
sure, that's fair. Obviously we got to listen to Isaiah the way that, and that's a astute observation from Rodney, because there's nothing that Isaiah said that went viral. There's nothing that was overly dissected or talked about in that interview. I don't remember that being the case. Do you?
I try to go back and find it because I wanted to play exactly what he said. I don't recall it. I just remember several players. He's attributing it to Isaiah, but I feel like I've heard several players say that. You know what I mean? Give that like we just aren't playing like ourselves. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's more though, Bobby. So Devin Cordy says that he talked to some players in Baltimore, and they have something very specific. And then that I thought was interesting. Here we go.
I agree with you. I think there's a side of this, even from talking to different guys throughout the offseason in Baltimore, of I think Harbaugh and the whole staff needs to go above and beyond from an accountable standpoint to every guy. Like, hey, if we fumble a snap in practice, that has to be everybody go. Yep. Like, we have to create this sense of urgency.
Can't let the Stars get away, because the Stars have let them down in the last 2 losses.
What did Belichick used to tell us all the time? In the biggest games, our best players need to be their best.
Yep. Right.
Like that. And if we look at Baltimore, you don't their best players aren't always their best in the biggest games. And I think that comes from a coach being on them every single day and not being like, hey, man, you're so great. Hey, just kind of do this. No. Like, when your best players mess up, who do you undress first in the meeting room? You got to, and it's not yelling, screaming, but it's, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable in front of your whole teammates. Right. And I think the same thing happens from player to coach too, because if a coach isn't doing that, then a player should be able to, hey, coach, you're not giving me the play call. Like, that was a big, like, the coordinator's not giving you a play call. We can't just be like, no, hey, coach, we need the play call before 5 seconds. We need the play. You know what I mean? I think you have to have that from both sides.
But it's definitely coming from the coach. The coach really elevates the team to that next level.
Yeah, I hear you. And I always thought it was amazing about you guys and your runs with the Patriots. Like, you guys are the best team in football. And speaking of your coaching, you guys were the team that was most probable to run a trick play in a playoff game to maybe just help jumpstart things, get everybody going. And I thought that was always great coaching too. Like, hey, we had a bye week. It's the divisional game. We're starting off a little slow. Let's do this to jumpstart things, right? And I do think there's
so
value
going back
in
to Isaiah Likely, he's saying that we have to keep the same identity in the regular season and in the playoffs. And that's the thing, is it's a mindset. We never thought of playoffs being, okay, we're playing the playoffs. It was just like this.
Yeah.
Okay, we never viewed it as being really so different than the regular season. So our approach was always the same. We were always businesslike, and we never got nervous because we were so well prepared.
Right.
And that's what I don't see from the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. I like all that.
Wow. Rodney doubled down. I mean, made sure to circle back on it, specifically pointed out the preparation or lack thereof, specifically pointed out potential nerves because of that lack of preparation in his mind. Devin having a pulse for the locker room. I mean, that's damning in a sense.
Well, and two things that were interesting when he said that he talked to players in Baltimore and they wanted Harbaugh to hold players accountable. What's funny, see, that's interesting to me, because what's funny, especially when John Harbaugh first came to Baltimore, he butted heads with everybody. He's even joked, like, he came in to fight, because Steve Bisciotti, when he hired him, said, hey, I would need this team to be more balanced. Right now, the defense, they're bullies on the field, but they're also bullies to the offense. And so he charged John Harbaugh with changing the culture to make the team more balanced. And I'm telling you, Ed Reed didn't like it at first. Ray Lewis didn't like it at first. JJ didn't like it at first. He and JJ went face to face in practice. Like
Jared Johnson.
Yeah, Jared Johnson. Like, they were about to they were ready to throw down. And so I'm telling you, that's who he was when he first started. And I feel like more than anything in the past, I've heard that he's tough, like maybe too tough. So to hear that McCourty's saying, hey, if I've talked to players there and they need John to hold top players accountable, that's surprising to me. Because obviously, number one on that list, like the top player, is Lamar Jackson. And you can go from there. I don't know, like, pick your Derrick Henry, Roquan Smith, like Mark Andrews, like what? And so that's interesting to me. Like, he's basically saying he needs to hold he needs to be on those top players all season long, is what he's suggesting. So I don't know how that would go, but he literally said, then we came back to Rodney Harrison, and he said those Patriots teams never got nervous. That's so different than what we heard from Odafe Owe in his interview with Sirius. And he's like, we just need to tell ourselves that we're enough. It's like, what? You guys even have to tell yourselves that? That's so far from where Rodney Harrison is saying his team is at. There's no way the Kansas City Chiefs go into it and say we have to tell ourselves that we're enough. There's no way that needs to be said to them. So it feels like there's like a lot of ground to make up there. And they're basically saying that confidence can be instilled by the head coach. Now, listen, we're not in there. I'm not in there. I don't know how this is going. I don't know how much he holds his players accountable versus doesn't. I don't know if players want him to hold certain players more accountable. I'm not there. This is obviously just what McCourty is saying he's hearing. But outside of that, because I'm not inside there, I can't say whether or not he's right or wrong. But I think the overarching sentiment of your team needs to go into the playoffs not feeling any more nervous, any more pressure. You still need to be who you are. You need to treat it the same. That for sure has not been happening. And I do think that John Harbaugh needs to lead the way to make sure that they are more even keel going from the regular season to the postseason.
I think this is a conversation that we may have to revisit, in January. And should similar issues rear their ugly head this year the way they have in years past, Sarah, we may have to revisit that and have a tough conversation around it. So, and it hasn't been that wouldn't be the first time over the last couple of years that you and I have had that type, right? It was like, I think we had a lead that was somewhere along the lines of, having a hard conversation regarding John Harbaugh, like paraphrasing what we went with that day. And it was just like,
yeah, like months ago, right?
Oh, it was like right after the loss. It was right after the divisional round. So good context.
And sorry to bring it up again. But this is why to me, it's more mentality, and we can argue about the semantics of what words mean. This is why I want to hear Super Bowl or bust. I want to hear whether it truly is or not. Like I want to hear. I heard John Harbaugh give it. Oh, it was with with Kevin Clark, and I didn't bring in the clip. It was because we were talking on a different topic. Remember in that interview with Kevin Clark on ESPN, he said that Lamar Jackson is a historically great passer, and that's what the media were all reacting to, and that's what kind of like went viral. So we talked about that. But in that same thing, Kevin Clark followed up with like, hey, it sounded, you said in a press conference that you don't like Super Bowl or bust. Not a press conference. He was on the lounge, that you don't like the phrase Super Bowl or bust. He's like, yeah, I don't like that. Cause he took it as like, we're like blowing it all up. That's how it was defined to him, that we're going to blow up the whole team. And he's like, but it is do or die. And I'm like, that's the same thing. Like, he's like, yeah, it's do or die, this, that. I'm like, but to me, it's the same thing. And so however you want to define what that phrase means, to me, it's a mindset. I want you going in and it's just to the wall. Like confidence is there. Nobody's getting away. We're busting through. I'm going to run through a brick wall. Like, don't back away from Super Bowl or bust. Don't back away from that. Like run into it and lean into it and just like go like everything is on the line. Like your job is on the line. Like all the players' careers and their legacy and all of that is on the line. That to me is why I want it to be okay to say Super Bowl or bust, even if you don't blow it all up. You can go back and revisit the offseason, but go into that with mentality like everything relies on this season to get this ring.
Comes down to the definition. It comes down to the definition.
It's dumb though. To me, it's like it's a mentality. Who cares about the definition? Act like everything's on the line. Act like it.
For timing purposes, I'm not rebuttaling because we've had the conversation before. We have different definitions. To me, that conversation's been had. Didn't mind that you went back down that road. And it sounds like the chat didn't mind either because they're fired up. They're fired up. Yeah. We good to get some super chats in here.
I got a little fired up there. There's a lot of based emojis in there with the lasers.
S. Dot. Oh yeah, everybody. You reignited the chat for a second there. Yo Jitsu reignited our channel membership by gifting 5 memberships. 5 new Voltrons have become members. So thank you, Yo Jitsu. Douglas H. Brown Sr. went to match that. Fantasy is reality. This is funny. So I recognize his cover photo, but I don't recognize the handle because obviously it just changed. So Fantasy is Reality 67 has gifted a channel membership, which should be on the screen now. I recognize him, but I don't recognize the name.
But I don't remember his display name.
Yeah. So sorry about that. And Douglas matched it, of course. So thank you all. Thank you all. Some quick hits. The familiar face that we mentioned in our tweet caption is Tyler Huntley. Snoop's coming back to the AFC North, Sarah. Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel are nursing hamstring injuries. Shedeur Sanders has a sore shoulder. And Joe Flacco's their week 1 starter. At least that's what it looks is going to be. So now, guess how many quarterbacks they have under contract right now?
Is it like 5 or 6 now?
Yup. 6 of them, including Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Deshaun. How did I forget?
Okay. 6 of them. Count them. 6 of them. 6 different quarterbacks are currently under contract. So, I guess preseason 1, we'll see preseason game number 1, that is. We'll see a healthy dose of Snoop. I mean, is Shedeur going to play? His shoulder's sore. Pickett and Gabriel clearly aren't. Deshaun's not even with the team, is he? Or maybe he's in the building here and there. I have no idea. I guess they're going to have to trot out Flacco for a few series and maybe even a quarter. So that's what's going on in Cleveland across the division, Sarah.
Wait, you mean in the preseason?
What did I say?
Well, I just was assuming you said for a quarter. So I was like, oh, it's the preseason. I thought you were saying they're going to have to trot him out in week 1, but you meant in the preseason.
Well, they're trotting Flacco out for week 1. If I'm a betting man.
Sure. Yes, at this point, for sure. But, okay, so Kenny and Dylan are out. Well, is Shedeur out?
Shedeur's missed some time.
Tyler Huntley's going to have to go. You can't put Joe Flacco out there when you have 3 quarterbacks already nursing injuries.
Yeah, and he's already been part of the organization. I mean, every year it changes, but Snoop's already been part of this. Is his second stint with Cleveland. So
Snoop's
maybe there's
play all 4 quarters. He's got to play all 4 quarters.
Can you imagine? You can't. I mean, you can't.
I mean, if Shedeur, Dylan, and Kenny can't go, I would not put Joe Flacco out there.
If you think he's your QB1, which it seems like they do, their actions have made it seem like all throughout this offseason and training camp that that's the way they feel, then I would agree with that. How can you bring him out?
Yeah.
So
can't risk that.
Yeah. If you think that there's dysfunction and attention from the media nationally elsewhere, like in Dallas, for example, with Micah Parsons, just turn your attention to Cleveland and it probably trumps it by a mile. It's insane. You brought this one in.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just wish people would stop trading with Howie. Only with EDC. Anyway, Raiders traded their cornerback, Jacorian Bennett, to the Eagles in exchange for defensive tackle Thomas Booker IV. So, Eagles are getting another cornerback here to add to their already pretty good secondary.
Keep it coming.
Just don't need to keep giving them help is all. Meanwhile, PFF put out their top quarterbacks and what they're doing for throws 10 yards or more since 2022. Lamar on passes 10 yards or more leads the way with a passing grade of 98.1. Don't want to hear that Lamar doesn't go downfield and that he doesn't do it well. Josh Allen has the top big-time throw rate at 18.8%. Lamar gets another. He's a shout out here. He's got the turnover-worthy play rate at 3%. That's extremely low.
Wow.
And then finally, Brock Purdy makes it in. He's adjusted completion percentage at 66.1 on passes 10 yards or more.
Pretty steady list to find him. 2 steady categories: passing grade and turnover worthy play rate. That to me just screams efficiency and ball security. You brought in a couple other quick hits from Jeff, I believe.
No, this is from Dan Graziano. Actually, there's a couple more things. He was at, for me, Dan Graziano from ESPN. He was at the Ravens training camp. He's got he emptied his notepad. He's got, I kind of want to dig in more maybe on another day about how the Ravens are emphasizing getting more picks. There's a lot of good info.
Why don't I just text him?
Sure.
You want to have Dan on?
Let's have Dan on. I didn't know you and Dan were like best buds like that. How did I not know this?
I met him in Indy.
You met him in Indy. So you guys were fast friends?
Good dude. Yeah, we hung out for a little bit after we were live too. So I'll shoot him you and I will talk about when we want.
Yeah, let's have him on at like 12:30 one of the shows, and he can talk about everything that he learned because he chatted with Harbaugh, he chatted with a lot of people.
More to come.
Anyway, I thought this was pretty cool. Harbaugh told him that when they were looking for new secondary coaches this offseason, he went up to safety Kyle Hamilton and he's like, "Hey, do you know of anybody good?" And Hamilton is like, "Yeah, what about I'm forgetting his first name.
Donald.
How do you say you just take the name for me. Donald.
Well, I've heard both. So Chuck Pagano says D'Alessio. I've also heard D'Alicio. So anyway, he's from Kansas City staff, as we've talked about, and as you were gonna mention here, and he's a highly, highly regarded assistant and was for Andy Reid, and clearly, Sarah, as you pulled in here, was on Kyle Hamilton's radar.
Yeah, so Hamilton brings him up, but he didn't know that Harbaugh was already trying to hire D'Alessio.
Nice.
And said he'd heard from friends of his in Kansas City that he was an outstanding teacher. So, quote from Dan, the Ravens believe they got a rising star in the coaching ranks.
There you go.
That was pretty cool.
Hey,
Kyle Hamilton was like, yeah, go to get this guy. And Harbs is like, I'm already on it.
Keep stacking. Get back to the 2023 version of this team where people are trying to pluck your staff members, in December and January when all those conversations are being had towards the end of the year. Like we're all old enough to remember that. It was Anthony Weaver. It was Mike McDonald. It was, help me out. Who else? Well, Todd got an interview after 23, maybe even multiple interviews. I'm forgetting about Denard Wilson went to Tennessee. I mean, they literally had, you can almost fill up one hand worth of coveted assistants.
Yeah, they were all competing with Zach to become the defensive coordinator at the time. Meanwhile, nothing too groundbreaking. We know this, but Dan wrote that the Ravens are working on a few contract extensions they hope to get done by the end of this season. By the end of this season, he wrote. I didn't know they were doing all three of these at the same time, though. I didn't know if they would have to pick and choose. So he said they're working on contracts with Hamilton, Isaiah Likely, and Linderbaum. He says it doesn't sound like anything is imminent with any of those, even though we had rumors that maybe they were with Isaiah Likely. He said, but don't be surprised if you hear news on one or more of them over the next few months.
Cool.
So actively working on all three.
All right. Maybe we will learn more by getting in touch with them. So stay tuned on that.
Yep.
Appreciate that. That brings us to the end of Quick Hits and almost to the end of the show. Let's get caught up on Super Chats before we jump out of here. Nightmare Kilo 84 says this has been happening for a long time, even before Lamar, referring to our John Harbaugh conversation. The same exact problems in the playoffs. No way Harbs is that unlucky. JCT Slice is super chat for you.
Guys, why does some of the media want Lamar Jackson to win with just his arm alone? I wouldn't even just say media. I feel like it's implied when nobody celebrates like his rushing stats anymore. Like I can tell you, like last year when I would put out like amazing rushing stats, it'd be like ho hum even among the fan base. But you put out a passing stat and everybody goes crazy. I completely agree that it's silly. A yard is a yard, and both his being a complete quarterback, we usually call it a dual threat quarterback. I believe one day they'll be called who's the most complete quarterback, meaning that you're going to need legs. You're going to need that side of quarterbacking. And so, I don't know. To me, it's silly. It's like asking somebody to fight with one arm behind their back. Nope, you can only throw with your right. Like, why? Why do that to Lamar? Celebrate it when he runs, too.
The day that folks start turning a blind eye to putting up over 900 rushing yards in his sleep on a year and during a year where he had just 4 picks and lit up the stat sheet with his arm, that's sad. That's actually sad. if there's just this general turning a blind eye to that, because that's greatness. Fantasy is Reality 67 says, hey, Bobby, to answer your question, it's JL Green. Thank you for the reminder. We're just a little bit off here with the new handle implementation. Fantasy is Reality is a song from Parliament Funkadelic. Don't know if you know them. Old school. I'm going to go look them up. Appreciate you, JL. Thanks for the clarification. And Joe Jenkins, former PBA pro, Joe Jenkins, Sarah, is back into business.
Says, I arrived very late today. Don't listen to Baltimore Banner. They screw Justin Tucker. Yep, I said it. If he's guilty, I'll eat crow. I doubt he is.
How are we going to figure that out?
I don't know how we're going to figure that out. But remember, that poll was 21 media members across all outlets. Just
meaning nothing related. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're clarifying for Joe? It had nothing to do. Today's
Well,
content.
I'm sure some of the Baltimore Banner reporters voted in it, but there was 21 media members that spanned several outlets.
Right. I just want to be clear though to Joe. Maybe I don't know, because he says he's arriving very late. There was nothing that we shared today related to Justin Tucker from the Baltimore Banner. What we shared was what Sarah just mentioned, just to be clear. Thanks, Joe. Let's go. Let's see. Patrons, Christopher Washington, Brian Walters. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you. This is your monthly shout out because of the support that you give us consistently through Patreon. Did I give them back-to-back shout outs? Did I not populate the new ones today? I think I did. I'm sorry about that. Chris and Brian, you get two back-to-back shout outs. That's actually not something we're advertising, so don't hold me to it. But Chris and Brian, it was just that kind of morning. We had a good, solid development from a sponsorship standpoint, and it threw me off my game. So my apologies there. Shout out you both. We'll get to the next up in the chronological list tomorrow at the end of the show. All good?
All good.
All right, great. Just in terms of some notes here, again, joint practice is underway. It's a one-day thing. Ravens and Colts in Baltimore. Rashad Bateman, according to Jeff, has been on and off the practice field over the last week, but he's participating today. Lamar, remember, it was an excused absence yesterday. He is back today. Ravens aren't practicing are Kyle Hamilton, Robert Longerbeam, Marcus Major, who's dealing with a concussion, Isaiah Likely for obvious reasons, and Emory Jones, who's trying to bust his butt back from that offseason shoulder. Speak.
But no Kyle
Shoulder
Hamilton?
procedure. No Kyle Hamilton. He was seen yesterday, leaving early, I believe. So he took according to Jeff, he took only a few reps yesterday and then was stretching on the sideline, and it looked like it was abdominal related. So hopefully they're just being careful with him. And that is probably your most pressing notes from the beginning of joint practice, Sarah. Let's hope for a clean one, by the way. Pat Ricard said yesterday. Pat Ricard, they asked him, they said, how hard is it? How hard is it to not fight in the middle of August at a joint practice against another team instead of your own teammates that you've been going up against all off season long? He goes, it's really hard. Yeah. So could he be the guy?
He's basically saying, I don't know, we might have a little scuffle tomorrow.
Look
now
out.
they're only doing a joint practice today, right? Because tomorrow is a walkthrough. Yes. Tomorrow would be a walkthrough, and then the game's Thursday.
Day 1 of 1. I will also say quickly here before we jump, between our friend Greg, who was kind enough to give away 4 free tickets to Thursday's preseason opener, and our winner, Mr. Chief, aka Dominic. I hope Dominic can get back to Greg. They've been going back and forth on email, but last time I checked, the 4 tickets had not yet been claimed. So, Mr. Chief, we do have a second winner, a backup, if you will. And if you don't claim them, we're going to have to move forward. So get that done for us, please. A special thanks to Greg for, again, offering up those tickets for free. Partner, on the way out here, we got G Judy 29 says, I have been excited about Jamal Banks' performance in camp and see a future red zone target. I saw an article today saying he was cut this week for conduct reasons. Is that accurate or fake news?
I haven't seen it.
He's currently on the roster as far as ESPN's concerned. Not that that's the official chart. But Sarah, do you have that link from yesterday that can be easily tracked down, the Ravens PR version, to see if he's on that?
Oh, of the depth chart?
Yeah. Jamal Banks, he's an undrafted free agent wide receiver. And based on what I see on a quick little search, I found it, and he is not on this list. So it looks like
He is on the depth chart.
Depth chart, yes, but not the.
We just asked you to bring up what was there yesterday that we pulled up on the depth chart, right?
You see him on the PR staff?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Look at wide receiver, go all the way down from Rashad Bateman.
Whoops. He was stuck in between Gerard and Devontae. Excuse me. There he is. Jamal Banks is on the, for whatever it's worth.
That was as of August 2nd.
Yeah, for whatever it's worth. So anyway, well, okay, so if that's the second then, Sarah, then maybe Judy could be, who knows? We don't know, one. But two, maybe Judy's onto something here because this week is this week and the second was last week. So there you have it. Be on the lookout for that. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for a great Tuesday show. Sarah and I will be back with you on Wednesday. If you could on the way out, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Special thanks to all of you gift givers out there. Special thanks to Super Chat donors out there and everybody who joins us on a daily basis. We really couldn't do it without you. And it's nice to, I think I'm reminded whenever I pitch our show, as I did this morning, Sarah, that we really have a community that we're grateful for. And when you start to talk them up, like I did today to a potential sponsor, it becomes clear. It's just like the reaffirmation that we didn't need, but it's nice to have every once in a while that like, yeah, wow. Like the fact that people join us at 12 noon on a daily basis year round and somehow carve that into their days is special. So thank you. Thank you all for making this possible. All right. Like the video on your way out if you could. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and Sarah and I will be back with you coming up tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern. TheVaultPod.com/shop is active and available if you want to go check out our new merch line. For Sarah, I'm Bobby, signing off from this Tuesday show. And as always, Vaultrons, we appreciate you. And thanks for spending some time with us here inside the Vault.